I believe all archers have the ability to hit the spot they're aiming at. And one of the things to do that is to have a good peep sight in. And on some strings, you're going to have those string in here which separates the two strings by their colors. And others you don't, you just have to find them. Now, in another video, I showed how to use one of these to actually change your peeps. So let's go ahead and we'll loosen this string up a little bit. Okay, now we have it loose. Now, you decide what type of peep you're going to use. Now they have these, which goes in between your string, and then you tie this other end onto the cable. Now this, obviously, this is way too short. The way you get the length of the cable is have it full draw and then mark where it hits the cable, and then that's where you'll cut it and tie it. And you want to make sure that you're on the cable that's going down, not the up cable. Then they have, well, back on this, the advantage of this is it's always going to line up for you. The disadvantage, you have this rubber on here, and when it shoots, it does beat up on the cables over here. So you will get some wear on those. Now these, going through this little slide, have a little bit of serving on here, which will help protect it. Okay, the next style is ones like these. I don't know how well you can see it, but there's a slot here. So there's 3 slots, one over here, one here, and one here. What you do is you split the string in 3, and as you draw back, now you get to see it. The advantage of this is it always lined up. You don't have the rubber, but the problem you're going to run into is sometimes you'll have one of those strings that's going to be in your vision. You have to look around it. So then they come up with one of these little ones like this that you split it in 2, and there's 2 little slots. Now this one, I don't know if you can see it, but it's got a real small hole in it. Those are good for target, not for hunting. You want the bigger ones so you can see through them better. What you do with these is you're going to split the string in 2. And you're going to put the peep in here. And one way to find out if it's the right way is that once you want it to be tilting down here towards you. Make sure you get that lined in. So as you draw this back, you're going to see through that. You're going to adjust this where you won't need it to be, and then you're going to serve it in. Now on these, you're going to serve in around here. Now one little trick that we learned, having the shop, you go through all this stuff. If your peep doesn't line up right, see, like here, it's twisted here. What I can do is I can take a strand from one side and move it to the other until it lines up like it's supposed to. The other option you have is you can put a little bit of twist in your string, so when it sits naturally, so as you pull, it will rotate it. You have to see how they work. So let me put a little pressure back on this string to hold the peep in. Okay. Now remember, if you're testing this, don't fire while the peep's not tied in, because it will throw it out of there. Now, there's lots of ways you can tie them in. I'm going to use some of this. Normally I don't use this color on here, but it'll work so that you can see it. I have this yellow one here. What you can do is just wrap this around here. And then you can just wrap it several times. You can pull it and then tie a knot. Or what you can do is tie yourself a knot. Oh, make sure it stays in the loop there. Tie yourself a knot. And if you want to do it again, you can do it again. Just for demonstration purpose here, is I'm just going to tie this one in here. Tie a little square knot. And then you'll cut the ends. And then you'll do, just to keep the knots from coming undone, just a little bit of burn the ends of it. Now it's tied in. It won't come out. Now, here's where you want the peep. There's a bit of rolling in here. Now, one of the things you can do is you can serve a knot above here and below here. And by moving this up, see what that does? If I slide this, it'll rotate that. You can use those knots to help rotate that. And there's several ways you can tie one of those loops in. or one of those serves one of those in. You can just do it like this. You can tie a knot, just a regular overhand knot above, tie another one below. That's one way you can do it, serve it in like that. There's a couple other ways you can do it. I normally don't do it that way because it just takes a little bit more time to tie them in. What I'll do is, let me pull this out of here. Oh, I went the long way, didn't I? You can double them up and then just pull them through. I'm going to have to make this a little bit shorter here, but so pull it through, loop it around, pull them both through again. Got that one a little bit short. But anyway, and you can keep doing that, till the knot gets, so about that long. Now, just to show you what I'm meaning on that, as I take this knot and slide it up, you can see what that peep is going to start doing. It's going to start rolling, and then you can tie other knots in here. Now, you want to get this lined up first where it lines up, because once you tie these knots in, notice how this is turned around the wrong direction now. And then if you get that way, then all you have to do is tighten your string up, or tighten your clamp up. Take your string off. Now, you can twist or untwist your string and put it back on. Right now you can't see what's going on over here, but the clamp is in the way of getting onto that loop real good. You just want to make sure it gets onto there real good before you start putting pressure on it. Don't use anything sharp because they can cut your string. And now just start wrapping this back around. You may have to do this a few times till you get it where you want it. And now just start loosening this back up. And you can do a knot above here too, and it'll help roll it around too. So that's how you can tie in a peep. There's a dozen different ways you can tie this knot in. Now this one's not real tight because I was just, a little demonstration here, but as you tighten this up, you can move this knot and it'll turn. Like I said, you might have to do this a few times to get the right twist in it until this lines up here. As you pull back, then you want it to stay straight. So lots of playing around you can do on here. So now I've got this way I can keep doing this until I get it to line up like I want it to do. Sometimes you have to put a twist in, take a twist out. But that's basically how you're going to put in a peep. And keep checking out my videos for other good tips and tricks.